Tequila on toast? Believe it, although it's not quite like it sounds. Tequila just happens to be one ingredient in one of the many jams Getty Stewart has created for her new cookbook, the Prairie Fruit Cookbook. It's full of recipes for everything from jam to baked goods, using fruits that are plentiful right here in Manitoba.
I've worked and grew up with fruit and food from the garden, from the backyard orchard, from the riverbanks, pretty much all my life. And so, and this whole idea sort of started with me wanting to introduce my kids to local fruit and to gardening, and then walking around the neighborhood and seeing all this gorgeous fruit that we have in our backyards right here in the city, and then just realizing how few people actually know about the bounty that we have and what to do with it.
Stewart is a professional home economist who studied at the University of Manitoba. She admits the idea of making jam may seem overwhelming to a lot of people, and depending on what kind of jam you're making, it can be a big process. But she emphasizes it does not have to be.
The tools that you're going to need for this, super easy. You're going to need a shallow dish, a potato masher, a bowl, stirring stick, and some jars.
For example, in less than half an hour, she whipped up a batch of freezer jam using local strawberries. And she promises this freezer jam is so easy, a child could put it together. Literally.
My kids can make it. It's no cook. All you do is squish the strawberries, add the pectin and sugar, and put it in the freezer. It's as simple as that. So in 20 minutes and 30 minutes, while you're cooking supper, while you're baking something else, you might as well whip up a batch of this. And the beauty of our home preserving now is, compared to our grandparents did it for survival. We're doing it for pleasure.
Of course, some of the recipes in her book require using more traditional methods of making jam, and Stewart says that still appeals to many people, even if it's more time-consuming and labor-intensive. Regardless of which method a person chooses, Stewart says one of the biggest benefits to making jam at home is controlling the amount of sugar, something you cannot do with what you buy in the supermarket.
When I consider that a lot of store-bought jams, for example, contains more sugar than it does fruit, and a lot of traditional jam recipes call for something like 5 cups of fruit and 7 cups of sugar, that makes me question, isn't there a better way? And so in preparing this recipe book, I was trying as much as possible to find ways to substitute the sugar, to reduce the sugar.
She says by no means is the book a health cookbook, but for example, the no-cook freezer jam has 6 cups of fruit to 1.5 cups of sugar in the entire recipe. But sugar aside, regardless of what someone is using it for, Stewart hopes people turn to local fruit as much as possible.
It's amazing the intensity, the flavor of this, of the fruit that we can grow. I mean, it doesn't compare, you can't compare a Gala apple that is nice with one of our Norland or Goodland or Ruby Red, September Red apples that we can grow right here. When you bite into that, you know you've bitten into an apple and you get this great flavor. And a lot of our fruit is like that. And you can take it savory and cook with it, or you can take it sweet and bake with it, and also enjoy it raw.
Stewart's book, The Prairie Fruit Cookbook, is on sale at McNally Robinson, and you can get more info on Stewart's website, gettystewart.com. For Shaw TV, I'm Kim Babij.